along with Heriberto Araujo. How'd I do there? This is the book. It's just out. Thank you very much for coming by.
No, hold on. Show the picture, because I think that picture,
in the front,
right? Is that a Chinese worker with a?
Yeah, that's an agriculture farm in Khartoum, in Sudan's capital.
Right. Okay.
And what does this represent to you?
Well, this represents one of the two phases of Chinese expansion around the world. You know, it's the phase taken care by this army of small entrepreneurs and businessmen and migrant workers who go to very remote areas around the world, and they end up conquering impossible markets. No, and they do so thanks to the attributes that are common of the Chinese people. You know, they're willing to sacrifice the sharp business sense, the adaptation to the environment, the talent to put costs down. You know?
It's interesting because we focus so much on the population at home in China, the 1.3 billion or what the figure is, but what is the actual figure of the Chinese who are living abroad?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. You know, nobody knows because you cannot rely on the statistics. The official figure in Africa, it's around 750,000, but it's much larger than that by far. You know, but there's a lot of illegal immigration, so nobody knows that figure.
Is it sort of a colonialization for the 21st century going on here? If Chinese firms are we're going to open up a mine somewhere, we're going to run a plant, they own that, and then they bring in their entire own workforce and disregard, and what your book says, they then disregard any of the local laws, labour laws or anything else, and they run it as they see fit.
As if it's China.
Yeah, as if it's part of China. Is that what happens?
Yeah, I mean, it's very much like you say, you know, China is going to the developing world because they need to guarantee and secure their supplies of natural resources, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's legitimate, and they're bringing a lot of good things, but they also go there exporting their model, you know. So this means side effects, this means low standards in terms of environment, labor, social standards, and this means abuse many times and suffering for the weakest of all. I think what we do in this research in our book is we give voice to all those people that are never in the picture. You know?
It is a form of colonialization, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit like, I don't know, it might have been like... Is it like settlement of some parts of the United States with the Indians, right? Going in and offering them booze and guns and, you know, and saying we'll share the land with you.
Almost take the US example is that, so China actually, back during the construction of the US railroads, there were tons of Chinese workers involved, and if you look, Chinese restaurants today are still, you know, one of the most popular kinds of cuisine in the US. The heritage has become...
The difference is the railroads weren't owned by the Chinese,
well,
right?
and also, that still is, as much as it's part of American culture, it didn't necessarily retain its distinction. Is it today that the relationship between China and some of these locations has changed materially from what we might have seen a century ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the key thing here is that China has about the colonialistic approach, if you allow me to say it like that, you know, it has to do with the fact that there's no added value left on those recipient countries. You know, all the added value, no processing industries, all the added value is taken back to China, you know. And how is China doing so? It's basically because a great weapon these days in this current context of crisis, which is China's almost unlimited financial resources. You know?
But are you suggesting that there's something nefarious about all this, that it's an intentional way of taking whatever the China model is and applying it to other countries, or just disregarding whatever the status quo may be in those places? I
mean, I wouldn't say that it's something that is planned by the Chinese government. You know, what is for sure is that Chinese state-owned companies want to become global companies. They are in this international expansion, and they have a strategic need as a country, which is go and secure its future supplies of natural resources. And they go there and they succeed because of their strengths, but also because they are exporting their Chinese model, which is very efficient, but doesn't pay much attention to the side effects.
No, it's a great point, and there's lots of great anecdotes that are in the book as well.
You want to understand what's happening in the developing world?
Here's one way to find out.
One way to find out, exactly. Juan Pablo Cardenal, author of China's Silent Army. Thank you.
Thanks very much.